Now, the making of a good compilation tape is a very subtle art, many do's and don'ts.
Let's make a playlist.
First of all, you're using someone else's poetry to express how you feel. This is a delicate thing.
Let's make a playlist.
You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you gotta take it up a notch. But you don't want to blow your wad, so then you gotta cool it off a notch. There are a lot of rules.
No rules here. This is Let's Make a Playlist with Jonathan Howe. Back at it again on Let's Make a Playlist. My name is Jonathan Howe, and this is the show for music fans to take a peek in on what artists are listening to and discover the music that moves them. If you enjoy the show, please hit the like button, follow the show on your preferred platform, and comment with a musician or music-adjacent individual who you'd like to see on the show. If you would like to be able to listen along to the songs each guest selects for their ultimate playlist, visit my Substack, House House. Subscribe for $5 a month, and you'll be able to play each track directly from YouTube in an organized fashion. Plus, you'd be supporting my own creative outputs as I make a greater effort to cover the vibrant and ever-growing music scene here in Southern Ontario. There are many components to having a vibrant music scene. Of course, you need great musicians who create and perform. You also need someone to capture those great tunes. And maybe the most unsung aspect is you need someone to give space for those creatives to hone their craft. Enter this week's guest, Josh Kalogerakos. Josh is a man of many talents and holds down more than a few key roles that serve the Niagara scene. His education background as a recording engineer has led to the creation of Suitcase Recording and Rehearsal. This studio acts as a recording studio where Josh can produce for other musicians and where musicians can come to rehearse for tours and live events for a generation of folks who are less likely to have access to basements, attics, and garages. Providing a space for a band to come together and make a little or a lot of noise is pretty clutch. Josh is also a member of Nitro Girl. The group describes themselves as an alt stoner rock trio, which especially after this episode, you can connect the dots to Queens of the Stone Age and their influence on Josh especially. The band is heading out on the road with fellow Niagara-based band No More New, starting with a show in Montreal March 12th, Ottawa March 13th, and Kingston March 14th, before a hometown rip later in the month in St. Catharines at Warehouse March 28th. When he's not playing a show, you'll probably find Josh behind the board at a show as a freelance live sound technician as well. The guy really does it all, and it made for a great conversation. Last bit of housekeeping, if you will. I mentioned my Substack. There you can find some of my written work about the albums I already have in my collection, the best songs and artists from my local scene here in Niagara, show and album reviews, and the aforementioned additional content for Let's Make a Playlist. It is free to subscribe, and you can sign up for the email list to have articles sent to you without an account. If you feel like tipping me for my work and getting some further access, there is a paid option for $5 a month. I would greatly appreciate that, as it helps me fund this crazy creative life and get me into more shows. I also play in a band myself. We are called Green, White, Checkered. We put a single out in January called Somebody Something. You can check that out wherever you get your music. We will be playing at Camp Cataract in Niagara Falls, opening for our friends OK Camper and new hires out of Ottawa. You can buy tickets for that show in advance. Link for the show will be posted in the show notes, as well as the links to the band and the Substack. Now, let's get to Josh Kalogerakos of Nitro Girl and Suitcase Recording and Rehearsal on Let's Make a Playlist. All right, we got another guest for Let's Make a Playlist. It's Jonathan, and it's Josh Kalogerakos, right?
You got it.
Okay, cool. Glad that I got it. Biggest thing that I wanted to ask you about right out the gate is you are a busy man launching, or I guess in this case, relaunching Suitcase Recording and Rehearsal. Talk to us a little bit about the history of Suitcase right out the gate.
Oh man. So Suitcase actually started off as it was a college ISU. I went to Harris Institute for the Arts. Shout out those guys. So they're great. but it was an ISU to, flesh out the logistics of opening up a studio and everything like that.
Hmm.
And at first, it started off as a remote recording service. Like I would bring the suitcase, you know what I mean. Like you see all these people working from home uh, with minimal rigs, and they're making friggin' great sounding tunes, right? So that was the whole idea, is that I'd go around and to offer that service to come over to people's houses and make it work, right? Fast forward a couple years later, I got my feet wet engineering for Damien Birdsey, good guy. Picking up all of his rap stuff, got going doing that. Then eventually I just wanted to have something like that of my own. So I opened up Suitcase Studios and downtown St. Catharines, and I was there for 3 years, and it was sick, and it's funny. So within the second year, um, I took on a co-op student from my high school, Laura Secord, and fast forward 5 years later, he's my business partner, right, and the drummer of Nitro Girl. So,
Hmm.
um, it's crazy, like, I never thought I would have wound up here, if you had asked me a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, I wanted to I opened up the studio because it was a quick way as a local producer and engineer to develop that credibility, to, develop the trust between the scene and, you working on people's crafts, right? So, and it's, getting that trust in people was a big thing. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't have thought that I was going into business with my co-op student at the time. I think he was 17 when he was doing it. Now he's 21, how old I was when I started Suitcase Studios. And now we've got Suitcase Rehearsal and Recording, kind of Niagara's first rehearsal hall. Um Ideal for getting prep for shows at warehouse, the bank, any kind of venue of that scale with a bigger PA system, bigger lighting rig. You can flesh out your in-ear stuff. Like this is something that we really found this this city needed, and we're just super stoked to have been able to have another kick at the can here.
You mentioned Nitro Girl as well there. That's obviously the project that you play in. Was Nitro Girl a result of, I guess, needing to show off your chops on the production and engineering skills first, or did the band come first before you ever thought that you would get into being an engineer and being a producer?
I think, well, other engineers, I think, could agree that, you get wrapped up in working on other people's stuff that, like, you forget that you have the skills to do this for yourself, right? Um, so Nitro Girl started as like a studio band between our bass player Owen Cokes and I. Been playing in bands with him for the past 10 years, like throughout high school. I've known the guy for a million years. Um, so it kind of started in like 2020. Yeah, maybe 2020. And it was just recording for the sake of writing, right? And then,
Yeah.
yeah, let's release it. It was initially going to be a two-piece. Owen would play drums and I would play the guitar. Then we went through a bunch of different drummers, uh, and then John came along, and it was like, okay, now we just have to wait for him to become of age, right?
Yeah.
In the event that we got to play any 19 plus shows or whatever. And yeah, like Nitro Girl was in full effect by the time John came along. The songs were pretty much already written, but we had, wanted to give him the opportunity to take a stab at the parts, right? And have some skin in the game. So it
Yeah.
worked out nicely.
It's really cool that you have that like balance of, having the creative outlet of being able to write your own stuff, record your own stuff, and do that while also, gaining your own skills to build out Suitcase to into, your ideal vision and dream for it. So how do you balance both? I guess that's the thing. I think when you're doing a creative project, like being in a band, I think there's so many things that go into it in terms of like how you promote yourself, how you write your music, all that sort of stuff. But then when you're also trying to run this business at the same time and grow this other creative field, do you feel like yourself kind of getting pulled in two different directions, or how do you find trying to balance both of the projects going at the same time?
I mean, obviously, we would be in here 24/7 if we could,
Mhm.
right? Just
Yeah.
constantly, hooked up to everything's all already run. We've got every possible, thing in place to catch any idea. We want to be here to do that. But we're adults and we
Yeah.
have to go to work. And then between the time, because I also work freelance as a live engineer too. But when I'm not doing that, I'm here with, whatever bands. And then it's kind of whatever else John and I can fit between rehearsals and recording sessions that we can get in. Right. And we're
Yeah.
also just competing with each other's schedules. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, but I think we've got a good balance. I think we've got a good balance. I mean, whenever I'm in here, I do pretty much all the mixing, right, and
Hmm.
all the tracking. So it's just a matter of getting the tracking done to be able to have stuff to put out and be a band, right?
Yeah.
And
And when you're
obviously the
building
booking of
out
shows.
your own studio, I guess the big thing that I wonder about is, do you have like a checklist of things that you absolutely need to have in a studio? There's certain things that um, you've, I guess, come across in your time working in production and working on engineering projects where you're like, okay, I'm going to go and set out to make this studio and I'm going to make it the best thing it can possibly be. What makes a good studio to you first and foremost?
Accessibility to literally any kind of idea, because as an engineer, you got to think about what you're capturing, right? Like right off the hop, if you've got a band in here, you want to make sure that you've got a couple mics out on the floor ready to be stuck in front of amps. The kit should always be pretty much fully mic'd, right?
Yep.
So that way it's just a matter of opening up a session and you can just rip whatever idea down you have. Um, having because we've also got a bunch of monitor wedges too, so being able to send stuff from Pro Tools or from you know uh to make sure John gets enough guitar in his wedge, even though we're just running out and doing things, we're not taking our time with it, right? Like everything's already in place to be done right.
Hmm.
Right, so having the infrastructure to do that, having the right mic stands to make it look nice and clean, right? um I mean, that's entirely just like a luxury, right?
Yeah.
I know going along McQuaid's, I wouldn't buy just one short stand, right? So you anyway, um, infrastructure is a big thing, right? Just how all of your cables are run, making sure that nothing's too, taut or disorganized, and you can always locate whatever you need, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's about it. Like, what else are you trying to do in a recording studio,
It's
right?
so funny, like, too, because I feel like so many people, there's been enough media, I think, about recording that's come out, whether it's, documentaries on certain studios or, behind the scenes of a recording of an album or whatever, where everyone's kind of got this idea of like, oh, when I walk in, I want to hear the perfect reflections off the drums or whatever. I want to hear this. And sometimes, really, for the level that most people are actually at, it's really just about getting in the room and having the ability to make it easy. And that infrastructure thing,
Totally.
like, totally gets slept on. I think that's such a great point.
Absolutely, man. I mean, workflow is absolutely number one, right? Like, the recording game is like people are coming in and spending their money on time, right? So as soon
Hmm.
as they get in the door, how much time do you want them to be waiting until they record something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, setting up drums alone takes an hour.
Hmm.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's all about just optimizing that and making sure that, like, on our website, we have a list of backlines so bands can prepare and see if they just want to use our house kit. If they, I mean, I've been to so many gigs. I gig with a Fender Hot Rod, and I've been to so many gigs where people are bringing their like DeVilles, and it's just like, if we had just communicated, we might have been able to figure this out
Yeah.
and made this easier, right? Now we don't have to
Yep.
go through the hassle of questioning, whose amp we want to use and blah blah blah, right?
Hmm.
So, workflow is like the pinnacle
Yeah.
of running studio, right?
And when it comes to bands, I guess, what's your advice, or what do you think most bands should know ahead of time before they consider booking studio time or before they get to the actual day of recording? What are some things that you're seeing that some bands just maybe don't think about sometimes when it comes to how to get in the studio and make the most of the experience?
Well, know that you're paying money to sit in a room. Any whole room to play a guitar. It's just somebody's capturing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if like you're writing your parts at the studio, you're kind of wasting your money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So make sure that you have your songs fleshed out. Make sure you've like really sat down and thought about the arrangement and that everything is purposeful. So that way, when you come in, you have a rough idea of what it is that you want to capture, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I've worked with bands where, you know, we get to, you know, them sitting down in the control room and like, sure, there's a lot of like the producers trying to like get everything out of the artist, because I know that everything that I need, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you have an idea of how you want the song to sound, you should kind of write it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's like the number one most valuable thing to me is like know what you're paying for, right? You could
Yeah.
be writing, you know, you could be writing your bridge that you didn't have prepared literally on the toilet at home.
Yeah.
Like come in prepared. Don't
Mm-hmm.
waste your bandmates' times. Don't waste your band's money. Just come in prepared. And a plus if you know how to play to a click, right?
Yeah.
So just like a base level of musicianship, I think is good coming in. It's healthy,
Yeah.
right?
And it's interesting too, because you also have the perspective of not only recording bands, but you mentioned it, doing freelance live engineering. From that perspective, what do you think a lot of bands um, need to either maybe get better at when it comes to getting to gigs, or even for fans? What are they not realizing about um, how concerts come together from behind the scenes? What are some of those inside baseball things that you've kind of picked up from doing the live sound side of things?
At the end of the day, you're never going to be able to control what musicians do or like
Mm-hmm.
what they're going to pull up with, right?
Yeah.
Like it'll be one of those things where you've got, you know, you're thinking you're in for a nice, easy, you know, 3-piece band all night, but 8 people show up. Right? There's literally nothing that you can do. But as long as you prepare for it yourself and you cover your own ass, you know, you bring your funky adapters, you bring your oh by the ways,
Yeah.
right? That's been the number one thing is like if for whatever ever reason the um whoever's supplying the equipment, you know, can't guarantee a working system, just make sure that like you do your best to, you know, make sure the show goes on, right? Like that's your job after all is to make sure that everybody gets a chance to do their set, right? I don't have many other quarrels with other bands anyways, like even the super demanding bands that have a crazy long input list, right? Multiple stereo DIs and having to be able to communicate with them. It's like on if you're limited on your infrastructure, how to communicate that
Mm-hmm.
professionally and, you know, effectively, right? It's all
Yep.
for the sake of the show, right?
Yeah.
Not there to just push faders. Like I'm here because I love doing this myself and I
Mhm.
want to make sure that other people have a fantastic time doing it too,
There's an
right?
art form to good sound, like, it really is, like,
Totally.
when you play enough shows, like, I know with our band, like, there's been nights where, like, pretty much everybody we've worked with in the Niagara region, for the most part, has always given us good sound, but there's every once in a while you'll have a
We've got a
night
lot
where
of
you're
really
like,
great techs here.
"They killed it." Yeah, right? It's like everybody, like, gets off stage, it's like, "Oh, could you hear yourself?" And it's like, "Yeah, I could really hear myself." And it's like, "Oh, is that what I sound like when I sing? Is that what I whatever?" Right? So you don't sometimes those are the nights that that, you got spoiled that way. So,
Yeah.
I guess sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I chase bands after making sure it's like, do you get everything you heard in your monitor? I don't want you talking shit after you leave. Said talking about how pissed off you were for not hearing whatever in
Yeah,
your monitor. You know, I need to know this stuff so I can get better too, right? Like
yeah,
it's you know, it's a mutual thing that we gotta have here, right? Like
yeah,
I want you to have a good show, but you also have to trust me that I'm gonna do my best. And if I don't, know that I'm gonna come up to you and make sure that, you know, everything's cool,
yeah.
right? Like I wanna know.
So I think the other thing, you're perfectly suited to ask this question and to talk about this particular aspect of it. But for me, coming from the radio world, now starting to kind of write and try to fill the gap in terms of journalism about the Niagara scene and being in a band that's playing in it, doesn't it feel like we're kind of in this renaissance? Like there is so much talent and there are so many good projects
Dude,
coming out of
holy
Niagara right now. It's insane.
huge. Oh yeah. Like I could name you 10
Yeah.
right off the freaking hop, right? Um it's really great. It's really refreshing. I just think we need uh better platforms to get local bands onto the better bills,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think we need more opportunity, and I'm not sure what the answer for this is, right? Maybe it's another venue, maybe it's uh other independent festivals,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't know if you went to Freak Fest last year, but that was a lot of fun at the Neck. It was
Yeah.
really, really great. Like the bands were like the both days were stacked.
Yeah.
Like it was incredible. And it was all just independently run,
Yeah.
right? So
My big thing's always been like, how do we re-engage like the college university crowd, right? Because again, we're spoiled in the Niagara region having Brock and having Niagara College at our
R.I.P. Isaacs.
yeah, right. Right. We're losing venues from it. But, that again presents a unique opportunity of like, how do we divert those kids to come into shows, right? Like, I know when we played at the Bank a couple months ago now, I put up a flyer or two around Niagara College, and I actually had a couple kids come up to me and be like, hey, like, saw your flyer, came to the show. And it's like, that's what we need because I feel like
Absolutely.
we can
And
all be 30 and come and go into as many shows, but eventually we're all going to
yeah,
have to grow up and we have to turn it over to somebody.
totally. Well, I mean, it's up to the next generation if they want to do it. Cause like, I mean, a big thing too is like everything's becoming so expensive. This is becoming such an expensive, risk to take for musicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but looping back around to going to the colleges and universities and putting up a couple flyers, like we need to get back on our guerrilla marketing, right?
Yes.
Like I love um what the meta marketing is like. I like how much control you have over it and how, working with different like all the algorithms and all of that junk. But there's nothing like having somebody come up to you and wave their tickets in front of your face
Yeah.
saying, "Come to my show. I'm coming back for you. Like, go to the bank. I'm
Yeah.
coming for you." Right?
Yeah.
Like, we need more of that again. Right?
Yeah.
So I think people are willing to go out and stop and read a bulletin. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
matter of like going out and doing that for yourself, right? And
Yeah.
making sure that you're hitting every hot spot that these students are going to.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's such an interesting little conundrum that we're facing here in Niagara, where there's so much talent, but it's like it's almost like it's the best kept secret right now. And maybe there's probably other scenes that feel that same way. Maybe Ottawa's like that. Maybe
I'm
like
sure
Kitchener, right? But right
London's
now,
got a
like being
great
in it,
scene too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it's awesome to be a part of. And obviously with everything you do between recording, between being in a band, between being in live sound, you're kind of at the forefront of it all. So you're a great person to talk to about this. And I don't know how much you know about this podcast and how Let's Make a Playlist works, but the idea of this podcast is kind of exploring the lost art of the playlist, the mixtape. I'm not talking about AI building something. I'm talking like back in the day trying to figure out your iTunes, or like even God forbid some people that probably put together some like taped playlists off the radio. Some people probably remember doing that. So uh, I've got right here my trusted David Bowie hat, my Vans hat that
Lovely.
has 60 or so song superlatives. I'm going to pull one out. You're going to give me a song that fits that the best, like right off the top of your mind. So,
Sure, let's
but the
go.
first thing I have to ask you is, when was the last time you made either a mixtape playlist, something like that for yourself or for maybe someone else?
Hmm. I have I know a lot of people really love playlists and they have a million of them for
Mm-hmm.
every event and every feeling, every vibe. I have one and it's called Massive Monster Mamma Jam, and it's
That's
every
awesome.
song that I have liked on Spotify since like 2016.
That's awesome.
So that's my relationship with it. You could kind of look at that as going through just your liked songs, right? But this is like that little more refined version. So I'm always tweaking it. I'm always developing it, right?
All right. That's pretty awesome. I mean, keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes that's the best way to go. Well, if you're ready, Josh, I'm going to start pulling some song names out of here. We'll shuffle it up a
Let's
bit.
do it.
So, first song for your ultimate playlist, I'm going to need a song from the 70s. A song from the 70s.
Oh boy.
And if at any point you need a moment to like Google a song name or something like that, feel free to take that time. We got
Okay.
editing powers for that reason.
Oh, huge. I'm so bad with on the spot shit. I'm so bad with it. Song from the 70s. I'm thinking Queen.
Ooh, not a bad pick. Not a bad way to go about that.
Is that like early Queen, or is that when did
It's
Night
like,
at the Opera come out?
I want to say that's 79 or 77, maybe?
75. Let's go with
75.
Prophet Song
Ooh,
off a Night at the Opera.
bit of a deeper cut too.
I love that tune. That tune was groundbreaking for me in high school, man. Holy shit.
What about it? What was it like from a production standpoint? Like, do you approach or like, do you listen to music for production first, or do you listen for like actual songwriting? What is it?
That's honestly my biggest flaw. I have a really hard time retaining. Like, have you ever met those people who listen to a song once and they know all the lyrics?
Yeah, yeah.
I am the furthest thing from that person, but I can play the song back in my head like perfectly.
Yeah.
Right. So hence why I got into producing, right? I've got these ideas that I want to recreate, and that's where it all comes from. But Queen is just like very, very high up there for me in terms of production and like mic placement, tone, guitar tone, drum tone, right? And just overall glue when it comes to those super tapey, saturated records. But back to Prophet Song, the canon part, the and now I know is so like that shit blew my mind. That people were doing that back without H delay.
Yeah.
Like Primal Tap. Right.
Now without some
But like
computer
just the ability
generated
to
algorithm.
hear that before and capture it at the source.
Yeah.
Right. So it's so cool. So yeah, Prophet Song.
Great way to
Big
kick
time.
it off. A little Queen deep cut to kick it off. All right. Song 2 on the playlist. We are going with the favorite song you've ever heard live.
Ooh, that's a good question. Favorite song I ever heard live. That's a tough one. Favorite song live would probably have to be Boilermaker by Royal Blood at History.
Ooh.
Like those guys, I saw them in 2017 at Town Ballroom when I was in high school, and it was so sick. It was like their second time over into North America. So seeing them progress through, I think it was like 2 or 3 albums, to see what the show would have become was just like, oh my God. Just huge.
Mind-blowing. And
yeah.
they feel like they're the perfect band to see in a smaller room, right? Like I saw them open for Queens of the Stone Age at the amphitheater and at Bud Gardens or whatever in London. So both relatively big rooms, right? With, tens of thousands of people or whatever, right? And I was thinking like, yeah, this is wicked, but man, I want to be like right down there. Like I want to be, I feel like a band like that in the ballroom would have been amazing. Even in History would have been great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was also like the style of Brit rock that they were doing too was like, from a production standpoint, there's so much room in the mix, and like he's known for using his bassman, and it's just, there was so much grunginess to Royal Blood 1 and 2, right? But seeing them do Typhoons on that much larger of a scale just made sense. And it was like the production was so good, the tone was good, but the tone was different compared to the grungy small room, DIY show kind of feel that we're used to here in Niagara.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been tight.
All right, let's see. Track 3. Can I get a song by your favorite band or artist?
A song by my favorite band or artist.
It's so hard to narrow down one. I know there's some people that are like, I know what number 1 is, but then there's some people I talk to and they're like, how do I pick just one favorite?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. It's got to be something off of like Clockwork, Queens of the Stone Age, like just the obscurity of that record and how weird it is. Like I love Keep Your Eyes Peeled. If I Had a Tail,
Yeah.
My God is the Sun. Like those songs are just like they are the songs for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is so funny when you have like some of the albums and some of the back catalog that Queens has, but I'm right there with you. Whereas as much as I love No One Knows and Songs for the Deaf and all that sort of stuff, like
150%.
some of the new stuff that they've put out in like the last 10, 15 years is just incredible. So what do you want to
So
go with then
dynamite.
from that record?
Let's go Fair Weather Friends.
Oof. All right. Perfect. Queens is just so good.
Just I'm a big fan of really great arrangements. And you know, they use such unconventional tones and like right such weird guitar parts that like fit a specific like feeling rather than like a melody that you hear in your
Mhm.
head, right? If that
Yeah,
makes any sense.
it's almost like they're using specific things to generate the sound as opposed to like
Yeah, to inspire
some
a
bands put the
feeling.
pieces together like how does this fit together? They're like what color does this need if anything?
Yeah, right. And for Queens, it's like how bad of a trip can we give whoever's listening to this record, right? Like it just feels some parts in that album just feels like it's yelling nightmare, nightmare, nightmare at you. And
Yes. I was thinking the outro to If I Had a Tail, right? And it's like Alex Turner's
yeah.
voice like way off in the distance, like distorting and breaking down, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
that record is just unbelievable. So I try to reference that record a lot and trying to find like I need to inspire a feeling in a
yeah.
song, right?
Is that something that, from a production standpoint, when bands choose to work with you, bands come in, how much do you feel yourself wanting to contribute? How much do you try to contribute, or do you really just let the band kind of dictate where a song's going to go?
I think right off the hop, I want to respect the band and their vision first, right? I think um in my prep leading up to a session, I think I give enough effort towards finding like reference tracks and anything like that because again, managing expectation is a really important thing for
Hmm.
bringing a band in too, right? Like they're potentially spending a lot of money with you, right? You want to make sure that you can deliver what they're asking for. So, but yeah, I think I like to push things in the right direction. Of course,
Yeah.
a producer would say that, but we're all working towards the common goal of making this a sick tune,
Yeah.
right? A sick record. Like we want this to be memorable. And there's certain things on a checklist that if you want it to be memorable, as these reference songs were, this was the process that they went through for it, right? Like you
Hmm.
capture everything. Like for example, I'm working with a local band, Real Kevin, right now on their next EP, and uh, Jay and I were recording guitars yesterday, and I was asking him to do certain like lead lines and all that kind of stuff. It's like this is a little far away from like what we had demoed out. I said like just entertain me. I know you can play it in 30 seconds. Like I just want to have it so we can try it and we
Yeah.
can get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I try to stay respectful with these guys, right? Like, and if they
Yeah.
like what I have to contribute, then great, right? If not, I'm not hurt by it,
No. Yeah. At
right?
the end of the day, like it's their song and they have the vision, but sometimes
Totally.
when you are so lasered in on your own vision, it's very hard to or it's easy to miss like the smallest thing that might perfectly complement songs. Like I remember working with season one guest Vince Oliveri on a song, and he was like, "Hey, I think you need like a lead part." And I was like, "Oh, like what kind of lead part?" And he's like, "Well, give me something kind of like Coldplay like." And then I throw it in, and it's not something I would have ever thought to put on the track in the spot that I put it. But then it was like, "Oh, that's exactly what this track needed. That was the perfect little end hook, right?" And that's
Yeah.
what a good producer like yourself, like Vince, like these guys and girls do. They just give you just a little extra something that maybe the band doesn't think about.
Yeah, right. And I think there's, something to be noticed about that, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that I want to have like a bigger, you know, piece of the pie because of that. Like I'm contributing it because like I want to make sure that like this gets the feeling and like this portrays the message that you're trying to send,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to kind of the live feel for this one. A song from the first band you ever saw live.
It's Green Day, 20, I want to say
Nice.
11, at Six Flags with AFI. And they were touring 21st Century Breakdown.
I was at that same show.
Hell yeah, dude. So was
Yep.
John. So was John. We talk about that too. He's 5 years younger than I am. 4 years. I don't know. But let's go with East Jesus Nowhere, because I remember downloading that song from my mom off LimeWire to put on her MP3 player, and I spent years not knowing what the song was.
Really, eh?
Until like we saw it live, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
What a
yeah.
great pick. I think that album, like, Green Day is one of those bands, like, obviously I'm a massive Green Day fan, so I talk and wax poetic about them all the time, especially on this show when I get a chance to, but
I'll
they're
talk
one of
about
those
Green
bands
Day
that
all day.
if you took away like Dookie and you took away American Idiot and like their biggest songs, the songs that get overlooked by them would be like the biggest song in the world for any other band, or if any other band put it out, right? It's like they've had so many monster songs that some of the good songs, like I feel like an East Jesus Nowhere gets slept on, but like if that was released by
Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, dude.
Yeah,
Come
right?
on.
You put that out from like, I don't know, pick a band, All Time Low for a bad pick, right? Like that would be like the biggest song that All Time Low ever dropped, right? So
Totally.
It's crazy. All right, track 5 on the playlist here, Josh. Let's go to a song from your favorite British band. You already got Royal Blood and Queen on there. What's left for British bands?
Let's go Body Paint, Arctic Monkeys, The Car.
Oh, what a pull. So
talk about production. Oh my God.
I was going to say, I'm like, as a producer, the later career stuff of Arctic Monkeys just must really speak to you.
Oh yeah, man. Like even like Favorite Worst Nightmare is one of my favorites. They're just awesome.
Yeah.
They're just so good. And I got the pleasure of seeing them at it was a Budweiser stage. In 2022. I remember it was the coldest concert I've ever been to.
Was it like a September show or something?
I think it was like November.
Oh wow.
And it was terribly cold. But I wouldn't have rather been anywhere else.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's awesome. One of those later ones. That's talk, I guess, from a standpoint of being a music fan. How do you prefer bands that evolve from album to album, or do you like when a band hones in on a song or a sound and does that, or doesn't vary too far from it?
Depends who the band is, honestly. Like as a musician, like all the power to changing whatever vibe, whatever sound, because I know that like all of my favorite bands are relatively like dark bands, right? Like dark in timbre, dark in vibe, right? But when you have a band like Arctic Monkeys who are doing like ska into very Clams Casino kind of the vibraphone kind of stuff, like that can be really, really, really cool. Like I love when bands take chances.
Yeah.
Right. Like I love the difference between Royal Blood 1 and Typhoons, right?
Yes.
Like it's always really great to see the progression of bands. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Love when bands take chances.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. All right, we are rolling through this. Next track I need from you. Oof, this one's a tough one. This is the first one I wrote down when I was creating this game, and it's your favorite song. Do you have a number one, or do you have like a pool that you can pull from?
Favorite song? I'm just going through my childhood of like songs I still resonate with on like a core level. I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it's a song that has got me the most amped about being a producer my entire life. Devil in a Midnight Mass, Billy Talent.
What a pull.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I always wonder about Billy Talent is that how do they get things to sound so clean and so heavy at the same time? I've never I don't think I can think of a better example of a band that can be polished with their sound, but still sounds so gritty. Like it doesn't sound like a pop record ever at any point on any of their stuff, but
Yeah,
the production feels like it almost in a way.
absolutely. It's got that very like high presence, very compressed, very direct, right? Like a pop tune would be. And you even think about like what pop is now. A lot of people are just plugging their guitars into their interfaces and using that clean tone, right? Um, but yeah, man, like, and we can make the connection between how roomy sounding the new Queens of the Stone Age stuff sounds, as opposed to something like Billy Talent, where it's just like vacuum tight, like
Yes.
heavily gated, like silence in that production is so essential to making sure that everything has that dead sound, right? Um,
Is that like a super challenge from a production engineering kind of standpoint, or is it
honestly, it's kind of easier because like it's
really?
fewer mics, man. Fewer mics. It's more attainable for people to do, right? Mind you, they're working in, crazy studios and using a bunch of really, really great outboard gear. But I mean, other than that, man, like it's a pretty easy DIY tone to achieve. Um, but doing it right is really hard. And mixing it right and editing it right. Editing
Yep.
like you don't think about how much of editing, you know, pertains to how a song feels and sounds,
Yeah.
right? Just aligning drums and aligning guitars and how much feel you incorporate into it versus how much are you snapping to the grid, right?
Which
S-
comes back to your point of earlier, making sure you can play to that click, right? Because it's a lot
Totally.
easier to make small adjustments than it is to have to go and move an entire thing over a full beat or so.
Yep. Been there.
Yeah.
Been there.
I've done it too. I've done
Love
it.
to do it
Thankfully, when I
though.
do it, it's usually on my own stuff and in my own bedroom, and I can just live with it.
Yeah.
Better practice a bit more next time. So, all right, let's go to your favorite acoustic track.
Favorite acoustic track. Oh man. Never Going Back Again, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah, that's a good pull for that one.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
that's one of the, again, like that song or that album, Rumors, great production, great songwriting, but really what ties it together is the fact you just have monster musicians, right? And
Oh
that's
yeah.
what makes Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you just think about guitarist Lindsey Buckingham. He's got like the weird pickup, like his pickup like slides between positions um on his guitar, and it's just like you like I feel like you don't get that kind of engineering
Yeah,
anymore, right? Just sheer like willpower to do something different. So it's
you
like
have an idea and you got to pull it off. How do you pull
yeah,
this off?
right? So that's cool. Yeah, yeah. Fleetwood Mac fucking rules.
That's a good one for an acoustic track. All right. We are over halfway done here, Josh. Putting you through the gauntlet. See what the next
Loving it.
track's going to be. A song with a female singer.
Song with a female singer. Let's go with one of my favorite local bands, Days on Parade.
Nice.
Let's go The Tallest Castle.
Nice pick. Nice pick. Former guests of the show.
Oh,
Kind of
lovely.
the driving force behind Freak Fest, if I'm not mistaken, as well, back in the
You
day.
got it.
Yeah,
You
back
got
last
it.
year. So that's
The
a great
goats.
pick. I think and I think they're doing it right. Like, I don't know what your view is as somebody who's in a band, but also, balancing having to be kind of tied back home because of the other stuff you do in the scene and in your world. But doesn't it feel like the weekend runs, like they've kind of got this nice balance and hopefully might be building a nice blueprint for some of the other bands from the Niagara scene to follow in terms of how to get around? Because every time I see like posts from them, it's like, all right, we're going to go play Waterloo. Okay, we're going to go play London. Now we're going up to Ottawa. Like they really have the whole weekend run and how to grow through Ontario figured out right now, it seems.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the chance that you have to take as a musician to trying to do something with your band or as your, with your brand, is really going out on a leg and booking a show 6 hours away, 6 to 12 hours away, and hoping that you're going to be well enough to show up when the time comes, right? And to be able to organize that from that far away, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it seems like it really takes to book shows independently and to do the recon and ask around in that city who's playing the circuit, who's got good pull, right? And being able to negotiate something with them, right? Because of course, being from out of town, there's a certain amount of responsibility that the band is agreeing to, right? So, yeah, it's tough to have all that stuff in line, and they have a really, really great way of doing that, and they've made a lot of great allies along the way who continue to book them, right?
Yeah.
So
Is that something with Nitro Girl are you hoping to do more of in the futures? Do you want to hit the road a bit more with the band?
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
we actually are hitting the road on
Oh, there we go.
yeah, and come March we're going to be on the road with our friends No More New. We're
Nice.
doing Kingston, Ottawa, Montreal, and St. Catharines.
Beautiful. There we go. I like it. I
So-
like when a promo can be worked in there.
You betcha. Yeah. We'll be dropping a bunch of content about that shortly. Like we've got a bunch of skits planned and all that kind of fun stuff, all the brain rot from the Nitro
Nice.
Girl Instagram.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I guess like the other thing too with, hitting the road and doing that sort of thing is how much show trading goes on? Are you guys really trying to find who the bands are in these other scenes that you can make contact with and be like, "Hey, what do we do? You guys come down here, we'll hook you up. We go up there. What should we be looking for?" How easy is the show trading, and how easy is it to connect with bands from other scenes these days?
You get varying interest, right? Like it all depends on, and that's another factor to as to who you're asking to book, right? Do these bands travel out of town too, right? Because the odds of actually doing the show trade is dependent on whether they want to drive 12 hours away to come play a warehouse, right?
Yeah.
So it can be tough, but if you look in the right places, you'll find people who have the same level of commitment to be able to do that, right? Because it is a big ask, right? So when you do that show trade, you want to make sure that you give them a good show,
Yeah.
right?
Nice. All right, moving on to the next song on the playlist. Josh, I need a song with a male singer now. We're going to flip it over.
Song with a male singer. Let's go Dream On by Aerosmith.
Nice. Good pick. Good pick. I mean, Steven Tyler, one of the best when it comes to vocalists, and I think that's probably his shining accomplishment.
Stage
if you ask me.
presence, right?
I like this playlist so far. It's a good balance of like new and old.
Feels good.
It's shaping up real nicely with just 3 tunes left here.
Awesome.
Let's
Well,
reach deep
these
in
are
the
some
hat.
great prompts, man. I've been having a great time. Thanks again for inviting me on.
Yeah, man. Anytime. This has been a blast, and I'm gonna come check out Suitcase soon, and
You got
give
it.
that a little.
Hopefully next
little look
Thursday
around.
if you're still around.
Yeah, absolutely. We can set that up,
Awesome.
and I think this is a good one to parlay into that. A song from a band in your local scene or hometown. We already got Days on
Ooh.
Parade on the list. Who else we shouting out?
Who else we shouting out? Just trying to think. I've been mixing at Warehouse a ton lately, and I'm just trying to think through all of those bands too,
Yep.
who are just like, whoa.
That's the problem, and we talked about it earlier on the show, where with so much depth of talent right now in the Niagara scene,
Yeah, man.
it's hard to
great.
just pick one, right?
Yeah. Let's go Boner by Ivy Gardens.
Nice. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that Days on Parade had that one on their playlist as well, too.
No way.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Hell
sure they
yeah.
shouted that out too. So,
Yeah.
Ivy Garden's another one of those bands that I don't know if I've caught them live yet.
Dude, gotta go do it.
I've
gotta go
heard.
do
I've
it.
heard they're incredible. And
Yeah.
they're
Super
just-
tight. good dudes
so many shows
too.
to go to. I think the biggest thing right now too is that doesn't it feel like the amount of shows that are popping up, it's almost like there's not a healthy competition, but almost like it's almost like an onslaught. Like you can't keep up with it. It's like every time you're trying to keep square of which shows you're going to, like you could go to just the warehouse and get a great rotation of bands, but then you're sleeping on, like the Camp Cataract shows lately have been incredible. The lineups there. I'm pretty sure were you just
Definitely.
recently you guys were there, or is it coming
Yeah,
up?
we
that you
were
guys
there last Saturday.
Yes, that's right. And that's the
Mhm.
thing, right? Is there's just so many good shows right now, and like we're so spoiled. We just got to get more people out to them.
Gotta go out and indulge,
Yeah.
right? We've got a great scene. Go find some of your favorite bands, right?
Yep.
I know as like a local producer, like some of my favorite bands are from around here, right?
Yeah.
Like it's great. And I'm so happy to be listening to them like every day, right?
Yeah. Especially because it does feel like there was a lull. Like I remember, I think Scene Fest died for. I think I was in grade 11 maybe or grade 12 when it died. And as soon as that happened, it almost felt like there was a vacuum in the scene where all of a sudden there was no bands, that
I know what you
really hard to
mean.
get shows.
I know what you mean. I was in grade 8. I went to the last Scene Fest when
Yeah.
Marianus Trench headlined. That was a stacked lineup too. That was like, yeah, Marianus Trench, Monster Truck, Arkells, Glorious Sons, Lights. Just it was unbelievable. Like it's super, super sick bill. And then I was just getting into high school, and I remember playing the circuit a bit there. And I remember playing at Detour, which is 88. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's still Detour. That was a fun little venue.
Yep.
But yeah, it definitely seems like there's just like way more interest in the live scene now than there may have been when I was in high school. I remember there being a couple bands in high school, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm glad that like the perspective is not just like made up in my head, because for me, I had that perspective of playing in a band in high school. We all go off to university. We all start doing our own things. I moved to Toronto and immediately got immersed in that scene. Like I think I moved there and within a month was at Pup's first album release show.
Sick.
And then from there, I got really into that kind of scene and the bands that all played with Pup and around that sort of same idea. And then I spent 2 years going to shows, and I came back to Niagara, and I'm like, there's nothing happening. And I think as soon as I got back to Niagara, that's when the warehouse opened and kind of really got the ball rolling again.
Yeah.
And it's just snowballed in the last, especially 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think another thing to tell the younger bands too is don't be afraid to go up to Toronto
Yeah.
for those smaller shows, right? Like go out and take the chance on like not finding anything, but like going out to a show, having a good time, and then becoming a part of that scene too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like one of those things too. It's like, for all of us, it just takes one band that's going to kind of break down the barrier. And it's like, okay, well, Days on Parade is from St. Catharines, and I really dug them. Who else is from St. Catharines? Or like whatever, right? Like you never know like what can happen if you become the trailblazing band, so to speak, in a way, right? So
Absolutely.
and it's
Absolutely.
awesome that we have places where not only are people able to play, but people are also able to make high quality stuff to kind of advertise their songs, and that's been a big difference too. Like I think like having a Suitcase around, having Frostbite out in Fenwick, having more places to go and record music in the last little while around the Niagara region, around Southern Ontario, has really allowed us all to put our best foot forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like we eventually want to even do shows here too,
That'd be so cool.
right? Like we've got, 2 tops, 2 subs. We've got an X32. We can put on a damn good show, right?
Like 50 cap, like what?
Yeah,
what are you thinking?
exactly. 50 cap rooms where like a band can come in and like rip a really fun, relatively DIY show,
Yeah.
right? Pack the room,
Yeah.
right? It's just a matter of figuring out how we're going to sell liquor here because like we don't want to do the venue game, but we really want to do shows here.
See, I almost wonder, and maybe, you can give me your perspective on it, but I'm almost wondering if that's having a space that doesn't have liquor almost gives us more opportunity for cool events and shows, because not only, we talked about trying to canvas and guerrilla market to the kids in university and college. Like, well, what about like giving high school kids a place to go to? What about matinee hardcore shows? Like, I remember going to hardcore shows in 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday that were all ages, and they were some of the best shows that I ever went to in Toronto.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Like that's almost as much fun, if not more fun, than going to a bigger club that's got a bar and whatever else, because
For sure.
then it's all just about the bands and the music.
Yeah, and it feels more like an independent show, right? Like it's a private event at that
Yeah.
point, right? So, yeah, there could be a lot of really cool novelty in that, but we just want to make sure that we've got the logistics down so we
Yeah.
can get off on the right foot, make sure that we're uh respecting not only our landlord but our neighbors too,
Mhm.
right? Because we don't want to have um like a billion people standing outside advertising that there's
Yes.
a recording studio in here, right? So
Yeah.
we want to find a way to make this place somewhere that bands can come make a little bit of money, right? And have a good time,
Yeah.
right?
I like it. I like the vision, and I trust that, like, you guys definitely are the right dudes to try to steer the ship
Appreciate
towards
that.
that. That seems
Excited
like
to
a
see what
really,
you think of the place.
yeah, I can't wait to check it out. We got a couple songs left here to finish up the playlist,
Cool.
and we're sticking on the singers here. Back to it. A song featuring your favorite singer or vocal performance.
How's your jazz?
I mean, depending. I there's definitely been some exposure in my life to jazz.
Toronto artist.
Okay.
Before I do, Barbara.
Okay, I don't think I'm
The
familiar.
most beautiful song ever. Oh my God. Like this
So,
song puts a pit in my stomach.
is that an artist that you come across from working live sound at an event? Like, how do you go down a jazz pipeline?
Barbara, well, I mixed a lot of jazz stuff for the Niagara Jazz Festival for a couple of years. Worked with a lot of really great jazz musicians. One of which, Ali Nunez, just was nominated for a Juno, which is insane. I mixed her at Queen's Landing in Niagara on the Lake.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I've met some other really great musicians. Nick Mustafa. Like I never would have thought that I would have seen and been part of the jazz circuit of Niagara being like a hard rock guy,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, some of the music's just so much fun to mix, and like the players do it all themselves. Like just tone is always just peak,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that it's like a whole other skill when you're playing in that kind of band, and like again, it's like so rooted in the way that it was performed back in the day before,
Mhm.
when there was one mic or maybe two mics total,
Yeah,
or no
super
PA at
raw
all.
performances,
Yeah.
right? Super raw. Like these guys don't require like any amplification, right? It's
Hmm.
just all coming from the soul. It's all just in the moment, right?
Hmm.
And just the dynamic range that these guys achieve are just
Yeah.
incredible. Sammy Jackson is another really great artist too. Really great set at Mate a couple of years ago. Um, yes, then these guys all have stuff on Spotify, Instagram. Like, go check them out, please. Like, expose yourself to new music. And like, these are some of the best songwriters that I've ever listened to, right?
Yeah.
And they're right in our backyards.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I went to school for music and I was taking my guitar classes, like, I'd have teachers that had played in metal bands 20, 30 years ago, or hard rock bands 20, 30 years ago, and they're all jazz players now. They're all flamenco guys. They're all like completely like reversed from what you would think they were doing at 20, and still monster players with that skill set.
Yeah, man. Jazz cats know how to rip.
Yeah.
Let
Like
me tell
you
you.
cannot sleep on that genre and those kind of players.
It's insane. You can just throw on 91.1, right? You throw on your local Jazz FM.
There you go.
Yeah.
Support some local radio. I'm about that as well. All right. We're going to close it out, Josh, with a question I love, but I have not asked too many people it.
Cool.
And it is your sports intro song. So I don't know if you're a sports guy, I don't know if you're a wrestling guy, but like, walk-up song if you were playing for the Jays, entry music if you're a wrestler, anything like that.
By no means am I a sports person either, but I'm picking up the vibe. Let's go with This Is Gospel, Kanye.
Oh. You know what? It's so funny because like talk about an artist, like I don't know how you feel about I don't it's not a conversation about cancel culture, but like I don't know how you feel about separating art from artists, but sometimes like there are certain aspects of Kanye's catalog that it's like you have to respect what was accomplished and what he did to kind of push certain elements of the genre forward.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough question. It's always a tough debate, but I mean, come on, man. Like, it's some of the best hip hop
Yeah. Right.
ever. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's undeniable. You cannot deny the legacy and the work that was left behind, right? And like there's so many people like that in music, right? From, production world, talk about Phil Spector, right? It's not exactly like it's not exactly like we should be championing him, but like you look at
but
everything
you got to acknowledge it.
Thing.
You have to acknowledge it. If you're a piece of shit if you're ignoring it.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're acknowledging, it's like, it's the music and the feeling that I support with this. Yeah. Right. Not the person currently.
Yes, exactly. That's a great perspective on it.
That's just where I'm at. Like what you like. Don't be ashamed of it. Right. Yep. Pull your inspiration from whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that song makes me feel good. Like walking, you're
going to hit a home run when you hear that walking up.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's a good pick. Such a good pick. I like that one.
Yeah, man.
All right, we've made it. We made it through the gauntlet. The 12-song playlist is complete. We got Prophet Song, Queen kicking it off, Boilermaker, Royal Blood, Fairweather Friends, Queens of the Stone Age, East Jesus Nowhere, Green Day, Body Paint, Arctic Monkeys, Devil in a Midnight Mass, Billy Talent, Never Going Back Again, Fleetwood Mac, Tallest Castle, shout out Locals, Days on Parade, Dream On, Aerosmith, more Locals with Ivy Gardens and Boner, Before I Do, Barbalica, and Kanye, This Is Gospel to round it out. Josh, I don't know how you feel, but that's a pretty banging playlist.
I'm going to listen to it on my way home.
Yeah, there you go. All right, there's one more portion of the show that we got to wrap up with, and that is your Desert Island Records. I did give you the heads up on it.
Yes,
so
you did.
I have them. 5?
I have them.
Okay. What kicks us off? What do you need to bring with you to the Desert Island?
Number 1, Queens of the Stone Age, Like Clockwork. Nice. Absolute must.
Yep.
Like pure inspiration for me. Ariana Grande's Sweetener.
Okay.
2nd.
Okay.
Talk about production, dude. Oh my God. Pharrell, just that whole album is just, it's a non-skipper.
Okay. So what do you look for? We've talked a lot about like rock music so far, but in the pop sense, in a pop production, what do you think makes a pop production? And what do you think are maybe some of the overdone tropes at this point in pop music from a production standpoint?
Some overdone tropes. I think it's important to try to recreate the basic, like I'm just using an 808 as an example. Like it's strong, but like something about this album, like Sweetener, loaded with 808s, some of them more basic than others.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still something, there's texture and there's different air and different stuff happening with them, right? Like I'm really drawn towards pop music that does those kinds of things differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even the snare drums and rim shots in that record are a good example because they're just plain Jane, but like how they're EQ'd makes them feel a little more there, like a little more real, which is really, really, really cool to me. Yeah, and just I don't know, man. Serve the song. Try to do something different. Go to your comfort zone a bit. You never know what you'll find.
I like it. You know what? Actually, you're the perfect person to have this conversation with. You talked a little bit about Juno Noms and stuff earlier. I'm not necessarily a pop music guy. There's not a ton of productions that I'm coming to and listening to a lot. This is an artist that I almost rarely listen to, but every time I've heard this particular song, I'm pretty mesmerized by the production of it, and that's Daisies from Justin Bieber.
Oh,
I won't,
dude, don't get
di-
me started.
no, like I
Uh
do want to get you started because it's such a strange track to me because it feels like, does it not feel like there's so much air and emptiness in the higher range of the production? Like even, I don't know if
totally.
that's a baritone guitar. I don't know if that's like a 6-string
Yeah,
bass. I don't.
it is, and that like that's part of what contributes, to produce a song that sounds like that. You have to use like it's all about the source and like what you're capturing, right? If you want your vocals to be the airiest thing in your mix, then don't use super like top endy cymbals. Don't use super bright, guitars, right? Like that song sounds like it was played with like a rubber bridge or something like that,
Yeah.
with on a baritone guitar, or with
Hmm.
super muted, taking away all that high resonance, leaving you with these dead notes that are really articulate and really cool. um and then same thing with the drums, right? Like there's nothing too crazy happening in that song, so it's allowing that space for the vocal to be the only thing that fills up that frequency range.
Yeah. It's such a cool production. And I'm glad like it,
Totally, dude.
I'm glad that like
Absolutely.
what I'm hearing isn't tricking my brain where it does feel so empty on
Oh,
there,
there's
but
something
that's a
about it.
perfect explanation. It's so cool. All right. What else you got for the desert island?
Okay. I have 68's 2 parts Viper.
Okay.
Check
I
out
don't think
those guys.
I don't,
2-piece. Holy
okay.
shit.
So is it more in the
Powerhouse.
vein of a Royal Blood, like, or is it like guitar drums? Like what is it? What's
It's
the two
like
piece?
it's guitar drums.
Mhm.
The drummer Jazz Cat plays a
Yep.
cocktail kit, and the guitarist, I think he's just got like some like Helix rig or something like that. Um and they are just the most like they're like distraught Royal Blood. Like they're so like unhinged and like unfurled and just like gnarly. It's
Yeah.
just so cool. There's like no rhyme or reason to the like structure of the tunes, really. um well, there is, but like they really really go out and do weird shit and throw in like weird sections that are just like extra verses and like really, and they just do a really good job at balancing between that and like stupid drops, right?
Yeah.
So
So
check out that
current
record is
stuff?
unbelievable. Current stuff, yeah,
Yep.
the current stuff is awesome too. This is, I forget what year this is. uh 2 parts Viper is 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, they dropped a record I think last year, or 2023, and they released a single 2025.
Nice.
So yeah, they are the shit.
All right. What else is
They're
coming to the
so
desert
cool.
island with you?
Desert Island, let's go with The Brook and the Bluff, First Place. Another
Okay.
really great album for production because of how soft and cloudy it is. It's like baby making indie pop rock
Nice.
stuff, right? Like I really love their use of just like super simple melodies, super simple harmonies, right? The songwriting is incredible. Um the mix is incredible. Everything about it is incredible. And I got to see them live at the Velvet Underground in Toronto a couple of years ago. And it was just a surreal set. Like these are one of the bands that like grow up as, you know, these are the guys who were like sent out to Nashville to become who they need to become, kind of thing,
Nice. Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
it was really cool to find this album when they had released it, have them be sent to Nashville to do their whole songwriting, to kickstart their songwriting careers, and to come back out seasoned players and producers and arrangers, and they're just, it was an incredible show. It was really really great, and I've got a lot of really great memories tied to that record.
Like it. I like it. A little bit different.
Mm.
One more to close it out from the desert island.
Alrighty, we're gonna go with Favorite Worst Nightmare, Arctic
Nice.
Monkeys.
So I want to ask about Arctic Monkeys. We talked a little bit about how they have changed throughout time and gone through these different phases and evolved. So what is it about Favorite Worst Nightmare where you can kind of stamp down and be like, that's the one for me as an entire thing, especially considering Humbug, produced by Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age, that follows this record.
Yep. So what I love so much about Favorite Worst Nightmare is the performance behind the recording of it, right? Like I keep coming back to capturing the sound at the source, and this boils down to performing it right. Right? Like to get that really great Green Day aggression, it's all down picking. There's no alternate up, down, up, down. It's all down, 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 down. So same kind of thing with their level of dynamic. They're playing a lot with their volume knobs and their tone knobs, and they've got different things that they're modulating live. Right.
Yep.
So I definitely look to that record for making sure that like I'm standing in the room with the amp and I'm trying to like close my eyes and think of how I'm going to listen to it in the song later. Right. It's like, what's the overall timbre and vibe?
It almost feels like of all the Arctic Monkeys, even with the first album, that particular album feels like almost the most live off the floor in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Old Yellow Bricks, man. Oh,
yeah.
Talk about performance.
That's a dance song disguised as a punk rock song.
Yeah, right. And like the swells, what is that before the chorus? The ba 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 ba, like that's all volume knob or volume pedal, or like it's stuff that isn't just playing and picking and ripping and this. Like there's more that's involved with it around your feet.
Yeah.
Right. It's cool to be able to work that, like bake that into the song. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we got through the desert island. We got through the playlist, brother. I think anybody who's listened to this, especially who's a local to Niagara or even Southern Ontario that wants to make the trip down and check out Suitcase to work at, I think they're going to be working with a guy who's very well versed in a lot of different sounds and genres, and you can kind of kill it and provide everything for him. So I'm really stoked to come and check out the studio. If people want to book time at Suitcase, if they want to come check it out to rehearse at, to record at, where do they find you? Where do they find Suitcase? Plug all your stuff here.
You can Google us, suitcasernr.com. We've made it nice and easy for you. There's a calendar that shows you what slots are available. You just go on, book your time, put in your band name, tell us what you're bringing, what you need, and we make either your rehearsal or your recording session happen.
Beautiful.
So, and if not, reach out to us on Instagram. If you want to come by, check out the space, please. Like no pressure or anything, please. Like we just want to have people in here. We want people to be comfortable in here. We want to we're welcoming anybody with our doors wide open. So please come check out the space, come hang out, come meet us, over the sake of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what about Nitro Girl? Make sure to cover that.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the dates coming up.
Yeah. Let me hit you with those.
What do you want to talk about
real
for Nitro
quick?
Girl?
We've got a couple songs coming out and they're going to be sick. Got a bunch of videos coming out. They're going to be sick.
Hell yeah.
We are looking at Montreal, March 12th at Casa del Popolo, March 13th in Ottawa at Avant-Garde Bar, March 14th at the Toucan, and then March 28th at Warehouse Concert Hall in St. Catharines.
Love it. Thanks for the plugs. Thanks for coming on the show, Josh. This was a blast.
Thanks for the invitation, man. I had a really good time, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, brother. Enjoy it. And can't wait to check out and maybe get to work at Suitcase as well.
Appreciate you, dog. Happy to have you.
Let's Make a Playlist is a podcast created, hosted, and produced by me, Jonathan Howe, for House Media. For additional content, links to the songs featured in this playlist, and more music writing, check out my Substack, House. There you can subscribe to get my blogs emailed to you for free, or if you wish to support my work, subscribe for $5 a month. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please rate, review, subscribe, or leave a comment with who you would like to see on Let's Make a Playlist in the future, and we'll be back with more playlists.